You're live. You might be live. You seem like you're live. Yeah, I'm live. Okay. I don't recall if I did mention any of this extensively in a previous video last year. I feel like I did not, or I might have a little bit, but not enough. Okay, so it's kind of that part of the year when it's a little too warm to talk about autumn, maybe, but we'll lump fall, like hunting season, kind of into this category because in some places summer ends sooner than others, right? And in other places you already feel like it's summer and maybe you already bought your things and you think this video is too late. I can't please everyone. What are you going to do? Okay, but so to begin with, before we even get to the main contenders or of this event, um, I'm going to talk about autumn first before summer. But this is also not going to be a comprehensive brand comparison. I don't own every single brand of thing, and I have some other ones somewhere that may or may not even fit. I don't know, but it doesn't matter. Okay, because one of the distinctions here is going to be like really obvious, like cargo pocket thing versus base layer thing. Okay, so if we're looking for more of a base layer thing, like Cabela's had these fleece ones, and there's other brands that have fleece things in different weights and whatnot. And this one just has a couple little side zipper pockets, and it has the kind of stand-up collar, which you may or may not like, with a little storm flap. Yeah, obviously this is probably 10 years old. Don't look for it now. They might not have the same thing at Bass Pro. They might have something similar that's not as thick or whatever. It definitely won't probably say Cabela's on the chest anymore. But this one has a pull tab on a zipper. And the interior pockets are this kind of poly-lined deal with, there's no like hidden pockets or anything, but it's not, the inside of the pockets is not also fleece. It's not like a fleece layer on top of a fleece layer. You see what I'm saying? It has an actual pocket pouch is what I'm getting at. Okay, so basic hand warmer pockets. Okay, so this is not though typically what we call like, a hiking vest or a shooting vest or whatever. This is just a fleece vest with a zipper, right? So it's a short sleeve cardigan without buttons, zipper and stuff buttons, right? But they used to also have them in different camo patterns. So here, where again, instead of an actual base layer of just like if you're just putting this under an army jacket or something, you'll be camouflaged-ish, and you'll be warm. But it's not unheard of to use it as a standalone casual garment either, whereas this, a little harder to use this as a casual garment because it screams camouflage. And, this was their open country pattern or whatever, and they had 3 or 5 patterns or whatever it was at the time. And again, you're not going to probably find too many that still say Cabela's or that say open country, because I'm sure they discontinued this pattern half a decade ago or more already. Okay. Similarly, if you're getting into even colder weather, you might want something like this, which is not them at all. It's Eddie Bauer. But this is, an insulated thing, but it's also meant to be packable. So I can stuff this in a knapsack or a butt pack or whatever. You won't be able to fit this in your cargo pockets on your legs, but you can certainly fit this in a small knapsack, rucksack, knapsack, whatever you call it. And it's meant to be, warm. I usually carry something like this, so if I get, trapped out overnight, I'd have something to keep me warm, but I don't typically wear something like this while I'm hiking. I'm usually not hiking if it's like snowy or whatever. I don't know if these accent patches are there for anything really more than looks. I guess they're made to look like shooting patches, but they're not actually any extra padding. If you were using, a shotgun or a heavy caliber or large caliber rifle, or they do have the hand pockets again. We do have kind of a pocket pouch going on. I don't think there's any hidden pockets in Oh, no, there is in the chest. Okay, so yeah, inside you've got a pocket where you could maybe put your mittens or something kind of sewed into that. Let me turn the garment inside out. Like I said, this is definitely more of a fall winter item than a summer item. But if you are going somewhere pretty high elevation in the summer, you might still want an option like this to carry with you. Why it has three different colors, I don't know. What, just to be cool. It's not meant to be like overtly camouflaged or anything, but you could certainly use it for that purpose. So if you're sheep hunting in Alaska in June and it's still 30 degrees there, then that'd be fine, I guess. Same with something like this. Very less structured, but same principle with the insulation. Which one of these is warmer? I don't know. Again, I can't really do an accurate brand to brand comparison because this one has inner zippers, pocket. Hard to operate the pocket and talk in the camera, but you got an interior pocket, you've got chest pocket, you've got side hand pockets. So this one has a bit more pockets, but it does not have a large game bag, which we'll talk about. Neither did that one, neither did those other ones. If you wanted to add a game bag to any of these, I imagine it wouldn't be that difficult, but finding matching camo patterns might be a little more tricky if you're, so inclined. A lot of people don't like to mix camo patterns, whatever. We're not really going to go into all those details about hunting and that kind of thing right now because, well, I'll get into that in a minute. Actually, get into it now. Yeah, there's a big difference between hunting and hiking. Hunting, you want to blend in. Hiking, not necessarily, although there are some trails that I've been to, at least one, where it says, please be respectful, don't be noisy, please don't wear bright colors, wear muted colors. Now, in a heavily trafficked area where there's a lot of other fellow travelers or whatever, then yeah, you're trying to be easy on their eyes, and maybe not wear that bright pink or that bright yellow. And then in hunting, a lot of times guys don't want to wear the blaze orange because certain game will spot it and all that kind of thing. But there's also a trail that is fairly popular, but it has side trails off it. And here annually, usually during the snow season, there's always people who get lost, often people who get killed. And I think that, if you're going to go off the trafficked area, then have that reflector vest or that orange vest or something in your gear that you can put on so at least they can find you. Whereas if you're, blending in too much, you're going to be harder to spot. Again, in snow, green is going to stand out a little bit, but it's not enough in the mountains, in the woods, if you're, trying to look through trees and stuff, whereas orange or yellow will have more high visibility. So, as a safety precaution, especially if you're just camping, that's something you might want to consider. You're not trying to, hide from turkeys or ducks or something with really good eyesight. So in my, so I want to show this one first, and trying to shuffle 8 million things. Okay. So in another outdated thing though, just to show, this is what Cabela's was calling a work vest, and I have a green one of this also, where it has Velcro flaps, and not all the pockets are straight cargo pockets. This one has a zipper, and it's actually hard to get your hand into it. But with modification, this is a lot more similar to like an army blouse, like, for the 4-pocket idea, but without the sleeves, without the collar. If you ever watched MASH, like BJ had made a mock-up where he had made a vest, but it looked like an army shirt, but it wasn't necessarily an army shirt, but it had lapels here for, just to be fancy. And it was before the 4 pockets. It was, supposedly Korea time, so he only has the 2 chest pockets, I think. Whereas the additional pockets come more from, sporting jackets and things that already existed but didn't show up on vests or whatever until later. I think I've mentioned before, though, like, and this is a durable canvas, so if I wanted to wear this just to wear it, I think this one's a little too small on me now, but this would definitely hold up to the rigors, but it would be warmer to wear. And a lot of the problem we have with vests is we can't tie the sleeves around our waist, so once you're wearing it, you're committed to wearing it. Certain ones you could take off your shirt underneath maybe, and they would be still comfortable. Other ones like this, I think, it would be a little less comfortable because this is basically sailcloth. So, and there's a big seam right here. So I don't know how much I would enjoy wearing this without the shirt underneath, but a t-shirt, I guess. And when I talk about like clay shooting, I've seen guys who go in their clay shooting vest with no shirt at all. And of course, it's a terrible look because if you think you're going to the classy range, and then there's the guy with the mesh trucker hat and the no shirt, it's not exactly the same thing as the fedora hats and the pipe and the British breech, the breeches that tuck into your boots and all that kind of old school shooting club look, but not going to nitpick that kind of thing too much. Like I said, this kind of configuration is meant for whatever work tools are supposed to go here. I have no idea. I would love to be able to swap out this pocket and, like I said, the zipper configuration on this pocket with just simple pockets like this, or just remove this placket altogether and just have the 2 lower pockets. But the problem I mentioned in a previous video, I'm sure, is of course these pockets can tend to be right where you want your belt for your backpack, or if you're carrying like a army style canteen belt like I usually wear, then you can't really use these lower pockets at all the way you want them to. So another drawback of wearing the vest, even though I have a whole bunch of vests, for that reason I don't wear them very often. So similarly, we have like, oh, I forgot. No, it's here. That's out of order. I'll do this one first. Haven't worn this one yet, but it's a slightly different material. Not as heavy of a canvas, but a lighter weight cotton. I'm pretty sure it's cotton. It might be cotton poly. No, cotton. So good luck finding this anymore, because but again, we have a zipper, which not always optimal, because same with some of the other limitations. Now you can only close it in one way, one spot. We'll get into that, but we have nice big cargo pockets, unlike that work vest. Now we're really meant to be carrying gear here. Obviously, we can't wear any kind of. You could maybe wear this open over a canteen belt. That would be the thing that could make it work, if you could figure out how to do that. But I usually have suspenders, so it's kind of, I'd have to put the suspenders on first, then put the vest on last, and then a lot of times the vest is too small and it bunches all up or it catches. And I have those waterproof heavier ones like Josh Gates wears. If you've seen that style, you know what I'm talking about. Those ones, nicer for cooler weather, but really warm for warmer weather. But here's where we come into the problem that I was just about to talk about, which is overlapping pockets. So here we've got a zipper pocket that goes right underneath this bellows pocket, which is also on top of, or no, that's the sleeve. There's no interior pocket because we got this outer pocket. Usually there's an interior pocket that's in the same spot as this pocket, but this one doesn't have that. But usually down below, then we'll have, this one doesn't have this problem as much. We do still have hand pockets in the big cargo pocket. And this is what I'm talking about, how it's a patch. This pocket is a patch on top of this, so we don't have a separate pocket bag. We just have the fabric. But we do still have 2 pockets on top of each other. So if you put too much in the cargo pocket, you'll still be able to maybe get your hand in there, but if you try to put stuff in the hand pocket and stuff in the cargo pocket, it starts to become bulky. But overall, this vest design is a much more simple design, less redundant pockets, less useless pockets. Overall, not bad. And I Stone Creek, so I think this came from Haband a couple of years ago. I'm not sure. So overall, this kind of design a little closer to what I'm looking for. And here we've got buttons, which I'm struggling with because they look like snaps, but they're not snaps. How you again? I think I prefer buttons typically to Velcro. You might be a Velcro fan more than I am. So similarly, but here we're talking now. Here we've got a mil-tec one. This was a German camo. Here we've got a couple extra pockets, some of which might be redundant. Here we've got one that's on the far side. I hold the wrong side. On this side, we have one pocket with a zipper pocket underneath it, with a hand pocket to the side. No hand pockets. Okay. I'm thinking of the other vest. This one has no hand pockets, but you do still have two overlapping pockets, at least. No interior pockets, but you do have the mesh, which is kind of nice for that moisture wicking. You do have an interior zipper pocket there on both sides. Oh, okay. So this one has a decent amount of pockets, but some of them are overlapping. This one, though, is divided, and it's on the right side, where I'd probably rather have the not divided pocket. I don't know. In this, my complaint, and I'll talk about this more in the next vest. I mean, my complaint is in this day and age, why can't I dial in what pockets I want where instead of having to buy their pre-pocketed design? Or why can't I even choose my own camo at this point? I mean, we have the internet. Shouldn't I have more options? Here's some kind of loop that's supposed to go to your bow and arrow, maybe. I don't know. Or something. These things, I don't know what they're for. If you might want to cut some of these off if you really don't need them. Snaps, these kind of snaps I think can break, but you have to be kind of aggressive with them to really worry about it too much. This, on the other hand, I do like this. This has this kind of loopy fixture. So there is a zipper, but then if you want to wear it open, or you can kind of use this. Unfortunately, this vest is a little small for me, so I have to kind of use the wrong snap in the wrong place to kind of make that work, but I can still wear it because even though it's too small on me, I can still hook it together that way and wear the thing just casually. These ran a little small, not terribly small, because at the time medium seemed acceptable. Whereas almost always with a vest like this, I was buying large, and a lot of those larges are too small for me now. So depending on the brand. So yeah, I guess maybe these didn't run as small. But here we have a game bag with a zipper on one side. Again, this, if it's warm weather and you don't need this kind of carrying pouch, this is extra fabric that you might want to remove and use for something else. You know, you could use it to line the back of your boonie hat or something. I don't know if you really didn't want this. But I found that the jackets that have the zip-off sleeves, most of the time I end up putting the sleeves in this pouch and carrying the sleeves around. And then later in the day when I need the sleeves again, at least I have them with me instead of, back in the car or whatever. That's about all I can say about that, though, because otherwise, most of the time when I'm wearing that kind of jacket, if I'm out in the day, I'm wishing it was a vest because I end up carrying around the sleeves for no reason. So I just got this one. I was debating getting another color, and then I realized I already had that green one, so I don't know if I'm going to get this in a khaki or not. But this is the Uncle Milty version from Rothko, and they refused to honor my bigger coupon or whatever because they already gave me the smaller coupon for another item, blah, blah, blah. But I went ahead and got this one an extra large. So if you look at the thumbnail, that's this vest next to that vest. So you can see the size in comparison. So this is the correct size for this. And it does have a game pocket, also with a zipper. More or less the same basic idea, except we've got a few extra zipper pockets. Again, some in places where I don't necessarily want them. Like I have this whole huge front pocket on both sides on the lower exterior. I have no internal pocket on the one chest, but on the left chest you have this interior pocket with a Velcro, which is not going to be very secure. Again, I'm not a huge Velcro guy. I would wish that was a longer strip of Velcro to, if I, or a zipper if I'm really going to put my wallet in here and I don't want to lose it. This Velcro that is not even sewed straight is definitely going to be disappointing. I don't know what this thing does, but I guess you can turn it inside. You can't really turn it inside out because the Velcro facings won't work, but you can remove it and stick it in one of your extra pockets, I guess. I think this might be for to clean your glasses. The pockets do have a bit of elastic on some of them, which is a new feature to this vest that we haven't seen in the previous ones. We still have this brass loop thing here, although it's not a very long tab that the ring is attached to. So you might want to modify that. Here's more elastic here. So secure. Now this is this is the kind of thing that drives me crazy. I don't know how this passed quality control where you have brown flap next to camo flap, but then on the inside you have camo. So I guess I should remove this Velcro and turn this flap inside out if I want it to look more camo and not look like a brown flap. Again, I'm not necessarily trying to blend in a vest like this overtly, but since it has a loop here for your tree stand, I assume they mean this to be a pretty usable hunting vest instead of just a hiking vest. You also have this loop doohickey down. I got the backward camera issue going. The loop doohickey going on here. Again, the divided pocket thing. Again, why can't I choose my configuration? Do I want... This one doesn't have hand warmer pockets either. I thought it did. But I still have two cargo pockets on top of a cargo pocket on top of a giant zipper pocket. So that's 4 pockets all stacked on top of each other almost. Now, Cabela's at one point had offered an archery vest that boasted like 15 pockets or something, but 9 of them were all on top of each other. It was absolutely horrible. I sent it right back. It would have taken me months, I think, to try and cut out all the extra fabric to eliminate all the extra pockets. Now here we have a tab again for the front, but much less length of material again than the other one. So if I get bigger around, I'm going to be able to close this less without adding something to it. But overall, I mean, this was like $50 or something, so not terrible for, the price. And now we're talking 50% polyester though, so, or 45%. 45% polyester, so not the best fabric for the price. A little pricey for the fabric, a little extra features that I don't really want. Yada yada yada, but and again, had to get basically woodland camo, I think was the kind of the color I didn't have, even if I didn't really need it in woodland camo. Like, okay, fine, whatever. Compromise camo. Whereas in a younger day, I was trying to do the BJ thing, and I took an old LL Bean shirt and I added army short pockets to the bottom, and I had the hem squared off a bit so I could wear it untucked. And again, this worked reasonably well for the weather, for the warm weather, and gave me about as much cargo as I needed. But again, when I switched from carrying whatever water bottle or whatever to the canteens with the harness or whatever, these pockets became just irrelevant. Couldn't use them for anything because they were just underneath the, and this being more of a shirt fabric, with the buttons, I couldn't really wear it the same way as like the vest with the little pull tab thing in the middle. So I never really got as much use out of this as I would have liked, but it still technically counts as a hiking vest, and I don't remember what I spent to do this, but I didn't have her finish off the edges of where the sleeves were. I just kind of left those because it's pretty much already hemmed here, so it's not as attractive as it could be, like BJ's custom deal on the MASH program and that. And these pockets are just standard chest pockets, which means they're about the right size, although, they don't have bellows pockets well, some of these are not legitimate bellows pockets. It varies from brand to brand, but it doesn't have, the traditional safari look to them. Like these, these will actually bellow a little bit. So if you have old shirts like this or old army shorts, you might want to harvest the old pockets and buttons and things off of them. I regret that I didn't do that with many items that I could have before I gave them away or threw them away or sold them or whatever. Or the fabric, again, if I wanted that camo fabric in that cotton, particular cotton and that kind of thing, it's become scarce now. Okay, so switching gears slightly. Okay, we'll do the shooting vests last. This is technically a shooting vest, but it doesn't have shooting patches, for comfort. So this is kind of a half shooting vest, half fishing vest hybrid. So you've got the hunting storage in the back, but you do have hand warmers here. Underneath, again, we have almost literally the same as the Uncle Milty's we were just looking at. We have the big zippers on both sides of the front, on top of a cargo pocket. And I don't know what brand this was. I got it at a surplus store 15 years ago or something. Made in China. 100% nylon shell, 100% nylon lining. So here we have nylon but it's mesh, so you can see right through it, obviously. With kind of a harness thing going on. And a woman was recently telling me I need to switch to a camelback. I don't know if a camelback keeps your water any cooler than a pair of canteens. The plastic canteens warm up through the day as I hike, but a camelback has body heat added to that, I think, it's more directly. So here we've got a couple plastic tabs instead of metal ones, two mid chest, divided, so 3. Again, we got the zipper deal going on here on both sides. You can see that. One closed, one open. I'm not going to open both of them. Here we got the cargo. Here we got these plastic, I don't know, boonie hat adjuster waist strap things. I'm not sure how useful that is. But then on top of that, we also do have interior zipper pockets under the exterior cargo pockets, or maybe these are adjoined where you can put your hand through them. Let's find out. Nope, can't put your hand through them. So yeah, we have these two extra zipper pockets. So again, we have redundant extra layer of fabric here that I might remove at some point. I'm not sure where I could remove that layer or how to do it exactly. Might want to consult with a tailor before you get too happy with some scissors, but definitely I don't understand when they do stuff like that. And then of course here we have the rare epaulettes, which are also I think on the mil-tec vest, but not the Uncle Milty's. Did that one have a? Yeah. This one, the epaulettes are more for show than for hooking up your binoculars or whatever. So I don't know if mil-tec stuff is still around, or I used to get Voodoo Tactical that I think was the same thing. And here we also have a locker loop on the inside, but no harness for your tree stand loop. So that's a glaring omission, because you'd think with these doohickeys here, but these are not, this plastic, I wouldn't trust my life to this, you know what I'm saying? This could break off pretty easily. I don't know how easily those other ones could rip, but at least they have metal buckles, not plastic buckles. So now, can you use a shooting vest for hiking and that kind of thing? Yes. But one of the main differences of most of them will be now your storage is all open. You don't have any flaps. You don't have any zippers. You don't have any buttons because you're supposed to be getting your shells out easily. This is, for clay shooting. This particular one has plastic thing and adjuster tabs. This is a Cabela's one. There was another one that I might have bought at the range. I don't remember because I liked the look of it or something. Here we've got a couple of, I don't know, elephant gun slots or something, and then a generic pocket here for your ID badge or whatever. But basically all you're putting in here is, your shells. This one still has foam earplugs. These are pretty old and have earwax on them, but yeah, okay. Well, that's in that pocket. Didn't I don't remember about that. But, and then they do have this one does have a back bag. So if you were game shooting, I guess you could use this for partridges or something, but it's not zipped. It's not lined. I really don't think it's intended for that purpose, no matter what Cabela said. But here you've just got, again, same as the last guy, just a whole mesh thing, just meant for warm weather with as minimal weight and fabric as possible. But you do still have a little bit of this padding with the suede, but I think they sold a pad that you were supposed to be able to put in here separately or something that I never bought. So after a full day, however long you might be doing clays, you might be more fatigued than, after a couple hours. But I also had one of those rubberized stoppers at the end of the gun because the gun was too short. So with the rubberized thing, I didn't really need extra padding. I actually found that the padding kind of got in the way. It was kind of too many things going on at once. So this was more than enough for that. And then again, we just have a zipper with no snap middle doohickey, no epaulets, no locker loop, no tree stand loops. Well, there is a locker loop, but it's on the back, not in the inside. Okay, but it's not a tree stand loop. This is just to hang it up. No interior locker loop. And then these adjusters, like I said, on the sides that I never used. And this here we have the sides not together, this out, what do you call it, divided deal going on. And here, I'm ripped from usage or got snagged on something or whatever. So that might need to be resewn one of these years. Yeah, you can see a little bit of damage, but not from hiking or anything. Just got caught on a bench or a truck or something. Who knows? And so similarly, though, this one I got at Big 5. I'm pretty sure this was Big 5. Like I said, there's others. Master Sportsman size large. This one might still fit. But here we've got a full back. Here we've got the heavier fabric again, no mesh, a zipper. But here we got lining. So if you did put pheasants or quails or something in here, you're going to be able to hose that out. Snaps for slightly extra room for cargo for carrying your geese or whatever. The front we have again some of these kind of elastic shell holders, but here you're only carrying like 3 shells in a thing. Typically, so this is more of a pheasant hunting vest than a clay shooting vest. We've got a little bit of padding here, not a ton, but a little, but no way to put in an extra thing. You'd have to open up a seam and put in a pad and then re-sew that or add a Velcro or something, zipper, Velcro closure. Here you've got this thing in the middle, but where it's supposed to attach to is not for closing it. I don't know, this is for holding your sunglasses or something. I have no idea. It's not for joining the front in a gather like the other one. Velcro big cargo pocket. Here we've got more shell elastic doohickeys, so you can carry, you know, some in here and then move them to the front as you shoot through the day. Here we've got a bellows deal. I'm sorry, I'm not showing this very well because I'm trying to look at it myself at the same time. But up top here now we've got another flap zip pocket in the mid chest that basically goes down under all these other flaps and pockets and things. So we do have similar problem with the same redundant front pocket issue without having any actual chest pocket, because we have this extra flap of fabric here below the shooting pad. And since we have a shooting pad, we can't really put a pocket up here. Most of the vests will come with right or left shooting pocket. The less expensive ones, they do both, which is kind of worse, right? Because we really only need one most of the time, and there aren't that many left-handed guys. So it would make more sense, you know, if you're left-handed to modify one or whatever instead of getting a double one like this, maybe. It depends on, you know, depends on your mood, depends on your this and that. This one does have a loop here, although, again, I wouldn't suggest this is necessarily useful for tree stand, but you have a locker loop interior and exterior for whatever reason. Again, this is kind of a budget big 5 one from several years ago. So, but you can access the game bag through the front. I don't know how to show this. Those of you who know, you already know. This opens up and it goes back. Actually, does that go all the way into the game? It does, but not conveniently. It kind of it passes through all of the under pocket of this, and then there's still a hole that you can come through the back. But what you're going to fit through that, except for maybe a quail or a sparrow. So I don't know why they did that. I would probably just close this hole so that you're not getting your game stuff going to the front where you don't want it, and just load through the rear. I would say it doesn't have that whole divided bottom as much, but here we have the back is a little bit lower than the front, so it comes down over your seat a little bit more. Whether or not that's necessary, I don't really know, but that's what it's doing. And then the front, well, just step back and show the whole thing as best as I can. So get an idea of the front. And I think these run pretty true to size, which, like I said, I think I'd probably want a slightly bigger one if I want to zip it up. And then here, where if you've undone the whole zipper, though, and you are filling it, then it can be a little more of a challenge. I guess you might need a buddy to re-zip it for you after you've put your game in here if you've undone the zipper, but you can put the game in here without undoing the zipper. And then why it has these 2 grommets, I don't know. They're there, 2 grommets on your back. And like I said, all this extra fabric though. So if I was taking this, again, hiking, not hunting, I might want to just remove this entire, oh, well, okay, I didn't zip it very well. We'll have to fix that after. So that doesn't. Okay, so I've managed to put the zipper on incorrectly, but worry about that later. Okay, so yeah, like I said, this isn't every single type of vest that exists in the world. You know, how you might want to modify them and this and that. Pretty long video, but not exhaustive, you know, but like I said, if you have any questions, you can put them in the comments. I didn't say that, but I've said that in every other video, so ha ha ha. And it was kind of, I mean, they're vests with cargo pockets, so I don't know what like actual questions you really have, but you might still have some. How that goes. Okay.